Alright, my kit came in today. We're doing fuel return. These things are leaking like sieves. If I squeeze them, don't know if you're seeing, they're just, fuel's just coming out everywhere. And now with the new pump and everything being a lot more efficient, I'm leaking fuel bad. We got this off. You got to take off your line brackets, clamps, these here. Do not run without these. If you do, the lines have a tendency to crack. I got them placed, these two for the driver's side, passenger side. Now, to get these off, all you gotta do is undo these nuts and they lift up just enough for you to do it. I just put a little screwdriver under here, twist and it lifted. Now, we still have to get our O-rings off of here, so I'll get a little pick, and you got a bottom and a top. There's two different, these four, once this side's done, we're gonna come over and do these four. They kind of had this, whoever did this last, I don't know, they got this facing everywhere, ran that line through the engine lift down, and I don't know. We're gonna straighten it out, but that's where we're at. So I just gonna get these O-rings off. I'll figure out, find the O-rings I need. Now, I bought this kit for rust repair. He includes this super lube, so you'll lube the O-rings, put them on. Now we're gonna measure our hose here. It should be 4 inches, give or take a 1/16. And we're gonna go and get this pre-built on the desk here. Then we'll go and just put it on. And like I said, we'll lube the O-rings before we put them on. I'll probably touch it just again, and we'll put a touch of lube inside these caps. So we'll put a touch in there. The brass washers, you don't have to worry about. They come with it. Put them away for a rainy day. They're, if you're removing the injector, you gotta get the old one out. Do not put a new injector, even a used injector, on top of the old one. You gotta get that copper washer out, and then you put a new copper washer, then the injector. So let me get these O-rings off, and we'll be back in a minute. Those 3 injectors done. Trying to show, there's a groove right here and a groove below it. So the easiest way that I've done them, and you get a nice size tube of lube with this, so don't be afraid to use it. I'll do this top one first, because when you roll it down, it's going to fall into that top groove. And you'll do the bottom one. All right, I'm just gonna put a little bit on my finger, put a little bit more on them. Now, we'll come over here. I already got this pre-made. Now, one thing that'll help you, kind of lay it and push down on these 2 center ones. This one, the hose curves up, but if you go down, there. And this one, you know, have it so they all lay flat. Now we'll make sure there's an opening here and there's like a lip that goes around. The lip's gonna go up. But now we'll just them. Now we'll come over here back to the engine. And like I said, you'll see this side is open, this side has a lip. You're just going to position them. And now that we're in all like that, just press down. And you'll hear a real light, or I don't know if you'll really hear it, but you'll feel a really light snap in your hands when it goes on there. And that's all there is to it. And now we'll put our injector lines back on. We'll run the hose, because here's part of your return. We'll run that back up to here. And then there's the return to the tank. And it ties in there and there. So hose comes over and hooks to that T. This one comes over, hooks to that T and down to the tank. And that's pretty much all there is to redoing your lines. Then you'll put the injector line back on. Of course, I'm gonna have to take a wrench, but that one's going to be a little stubborn. Some of them were kind of hard turning. So, but that's it. That's, I'll show once I get them all done. I'll show how I hook this line up. Like I said, it's pretty simple, right from there to there. This return line I removed on this side. So now that I have the new kit, I can fix this so it ain't a mess like that. And I'll be replacing the line there. So I'll get back with you after a while. All right, on this side you need 2 wrenches, not for all of them. They're all gonna be like this side except for this one. This is the one you see where you'd put your, if you had a timing light with the, oh, I forget what they call that conversion, but you got to put a wrench down here and then a wrench up here. So otherwise it's pretty much the same. And then once you break it free, it's going to undo the same way. But once you undo this, now this is going to come up. There's this piece that goes over it. So don't forget to reinstall that. Now it's going to look like that. So now sorry, I can't do this one-handed. Then this piece is going to come off. That screws into the top of your injector and it'll stick up like that. and then this piece goes over it. Then you're gonna screw your injector here. Now the clip that we want is still on here. It's right there. So now we're in a position, we'll loosen all these, and then like I said, I just take a screwdriver and I'll loosen one quick and just be doing some editing. Now once you undo these lines, they're gonna pop up a little bit, and that gives you enough room to get this out. I mean, you got just enough room to get that. And then what I do is I just take a screwdriver, and right there, I'll grab it with my hand also, but if you put a little screwdriver right there, it just comes right up like that. As you can see, there's your O-rings that we're replacing. I'll do that to all four, and then I'll put it back on. This side is done. I didn't put the return line on yet back there, or this one. Make sure you put these isolators back on. That's what will cause your injection lines to crack. So make sure the rubber isolator's good. You can still buy them, so if they're not, replace them. So, all right, that's where we're at. All right, this is the passenger side now. Most people, when they cut these, they cut them at 4 inches. I actually cut them a 1/16 short because I find 4 inches, there's still a little bit, and yeah, I get that 1/16 don't seem like a big deal, but you know, it's what I do. You know, people are gonna have to do what they feel's best. I just cut them just a touch shy. Now when you open this kit, kind of look up in here, make sure there's no O-rings stuck, because I've had a couple that had them stuck up there. Like there's another one. Then you're just gonna lay it out. Here's the line that we took off. So, you know, we need that piece there, here, oh, on the corner one here. But then what I'll do is I take my line and I put all my clamps on them. I ain't gonna bore you with doing them all. I'll do each one, and then when I go to do this, I just gotta push them on there. Some people say lube, put a touch of the lube on here or here. If you're having issues with it going on, I guess that's a good thing. Mine, they've been sliding on pretty decent. If this line's any good, I mean, here you can see this line definitely ain't good. I mean, I'm squeezing fuel out of it. The line is just, it's shot. But if this line's good, there's absolutely no reason where you have to. And these do, if they're good ones, they do form a constant tension all the way around where the screw-on ones don't. You kind of get a oblong with them, but you know, hey, if you want to go with the screw-on, you know, it's your truck. You know, you got to do you, and you got to do what you feel comfortable. So if you want to get it so it's pretty good, then I'll do my clamps. And make sure, because like I say, you're just helping yourself more than anything. So When you do this, make sure you have all this indent flat on top and the wide open on the bottom. See, like if I were to do it that way, that would be wrong. You want this piece on top. There we go. It's looking pretty good. So we'll do the clamps, and now this one, I still got to put the O-rings on the motor, but otherwise this one's ready to go on now. It's not a time-consuming job. Just use caution when you're putting your O-rings on, because you really don't want to nick them or anything. So, you know, you get plenty of lube. Just make sure you use it not sparingly. Use a lot of it. I mean, you don't have to have where you can't see the O-ring, but, you know, put it on really good and it'll go on. These other pieces are for resealing your filter housing. Mine, since I'm deleting parts of it, I'm going to delete this whole filter housing. This is the old fuel line to the mechanical pump. I got to pull that, get the block off plate in. This is your fuel heater. This is one of your returns. This is one of your biggest sources of air intrusion because it comes from the return lines. And then, so air pockets are going to go to the highest point. Well, right now, with this block, it's right here. So, but when this went from here, or from this return line here up to here, this sends air right back to your filter. So now when you go to start it, you're sucking air. So this is your fuel heater. This is a really good source of air intrusion. They love to leak. Now you can either pull this off and tap it and put a plug in there. Some people are JB welding it. However, to change the filter, you drop, or change the seal, you drop your filter. And then there's a nut on that threaded piece. You undo that threaded piece that this goes on, it screws both sides. You drop that, and then there's a thin plate in there that'll come down, and then you can go and get at the bottom side of this, put a new O-ring on it, put it back together. But every once in a while, they just stay leaking even after you do reseal them. So, you know, you gotta do what you want. I'm gonna delete this all together and just go with a line in, line out. I'm not gonna have all these gauges, because to put a sender unit on here, you know, to monitor the filter, I can turn around, and when I go straight in, straight out, I can put a T and I can put a fitting there for a fuel pressure gauge. If you keep this unit, you can unscrew this here and put a fuel pressure gauge there. But I use this Schrader valve. Like after doing all this, I'm gonna turn my fuel pump on, and then I'll keep pushing this. When I get good fuel here, then I'll crack an injector line. I just crack one. When I get good pressure coming out, I seal it, and it usually starts for me.